Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that she is an a-hole? My female 32 best childhood friend, 32, just became a lawyer and then dumped her boyfriend. A best friend and I grew up in poverty, and we had not much opportunities for an education. For young women in our area, our options were retail, substance dealing, selling our bodies, or hoping a rich guy would notice us. For guys, it was retail, substance dealing, or finding one of the few factory jobs remaining. I got lucky, managed to date a med student. He helped open doors for me, and I have become a teacher in a school in a lower socioeconomic area to provide those opportunities. My husband is now a doctor. My friend tried that option but was not as lucky. She was working minimum wage retail at age 25. While doing so, she got friendly with a factory worker, male 30, who came by regularly and they started dating. He knew he was not the academic type. School was not for him. But he also saw potential in my friend and encouraged her to go to school. She had dreams of becoming a criminal prosecutor and encouraged her to not give up. He took out whatever loan he could find so that she could get an education. He supported her through and through, did housework, worked extra shifts, everything so she could get an education. My friend persevered, graduated, and became a lawyer. Shortly after, she broke up with her boyfriend, just as he planned on proposing to her. She said that as a professional, she had no interest being married to a working-class man, and that she deserves a real man. I was horrified and told her that she's betraying a man who has supported her through all this. It made her what she is. She got mad and said that it is not a woman's job to pay the bills, and that I am a hypocrite because my husband makes a lot more than me. She further said that the idea of marriage as a life partnership is a patriarchal construct, that she has the right to date whomever she wants, and that as a feminist I should be supporting her. I told her that she is not only a major a-hole, she is giving the movement a bad name because it means women financially supporting their male partners as much as in the reverse. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She used him. This has nothing to do with the movement. She took his love, his graciousness, and led him to believe they had a future together, while bleeding him dry. She is a vampire. She does not have the requisite morality to be considered for your friendship, because you're a good person, and she's not. The good news is, she does have the requisite morality to be a lawyer. In other words, none. I disagree. I'm going to law school right now, and one of the big things that is emphasized is ethics and morality. I am horrified she's going to be a lawyer. Sadly, I think this is one of those areas of difference between theory and reality. If you think lawyers are all paragons of morality, you might have some harsh realizations in your future. Not an a-hole because you were right. That was an a-hole move on her part. The idea of a real man only being a breadwinner is very much not feminist. She's using the movement as a way to try to make her defenses seem untouchable, because then she can proclaim you aren't one and shut you down, when her behavior has nothing to do with the movement. Dumping him because she wants to ladder climb is extremely classist and cold-hearted. It really sounds like she just used him for his money, rather than actually enjoying the relationship or caring for him. Very sad that she felt it necessary to manipulate someone to survive, and even sadder for her poor ex being used like that. I'm just gonna say this to Opie. I pray stop being friends with her. She spent years with this man, took his money, love, support, used it, and tossed him aside when she was done. If she can do that to him, she can and most likely will do it to you. Also, this is a reach on my part, but keep a close eye on her behavior near your husband. It sounds like he's in her preferred tax bracket. Not a home. Your ex-friend is a super witch and a user. I'd reach out and stay friends with her poor ex, and tell him he dodged an entitled a-hole bullet. I hope he finds a partner who actually loves him, though I guess he'll have trust issues for some time to come. Yeah, not sure how to help him. All you can do is let him know you are on his side and check in on him. Invite him to hang out with you and your husband/friend group, etc. You won't be able to fix this, but those things are still important. Next story. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my fiancé spent all of the money for my wedding dress and our future house? My fiancé, 27 male, and I, 25 female, are getting married soon. The wedding is in 2 months and we still have to get a wedding dress, and we're planning on moving into a house shortly after getting married. 2 weeks ago, my fiancé had his bachelor party. I come from a fairly wealthy family, so recently we received a generous monetary gift from my parents to go towards the wedding, and as an early wedding gift for any extra that we didn't spend. My fiancé and 10 of his friends went to Vegas for the party, but my fiancé and I had agreed on a $1,000 limit, not including hotel and plane fees. The day after the party, I received a call from the bank and found out that my fiancé spent the entire gift from my parents on gambling and lost all of it. This was disappointing because he has struggled with a gambling addiction in the past, but has been doing really good the past couple years. We had an argument about this when he got home, and he has been really upset with me because he says I should understand that he was struggling, and this will always be a temptation for him. I have no idea how we're going to pay for the wedding dress I'm supposed to get, much less contribute to the house, and I honestly have no idea what to do right now. He thinks I should just get a cheaper wedding dress, but I don't think I should have to because this is his fault, not mine. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but you need to screech brakes on the wedding. Gambling addict who still gambles? Absolutely do not tie yourself financially to this man. The fact that he blames you and saying you should understand that all of this would be a struggle for him? Unacceptable. Who on earth decided that a gambling addict should go to Vegas for a stag? And that's before you even get onto him being an a-hole for using up the wedding budget for something for him. Do not marry this man. This. Not the a-hole, but you need to reevaluate this whole thing. He clearly has an issue and a boundary issue as well. Why would he have access to money like that? Do you have a prenup? Have you discussed separate finances for everything? You cannot seriously marry him without protecting yourself and your family. It would be a huge mistake. What kind of crazy person is willing to marry a man who has told her up front that his gambling addiction will always come before her and their future? He has given her all the information she needs to call the whole thing off immediately. What is up with her hesitation? Why does she need internet strangers to point out she needs to reevaluate? Either this is fake, or Opie's a complete fool. And you know what they say about fools and their money. Why the heck would he choose Vegas when he has a gambling problem? Red flags. Freaking run. This. If he has been struggling, he shouldn't have gone to a gambling city. Not at a-hole. But if I were you, I would be buying a dress. I'd be rethinking the relationship. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The main sticking point is the dress? Like not the gambling addiction relapse or even the money for the house? Exactly. The last thought would be the dress and wedding. Addiction is unfortunately a battle for the rest of your life, and your significant other getting a trip to Las Vegas with his friends makes me think neither of you, him, you, and his friends, are truly realizing how bad the situation truly is. Your significant other needs professional help ASAP before this addiction costs you all of your savings and a relationship. You're the a-hole for still going with the wedding. Red flags. He is not taking responsibility for what he did. You're going to screw yourself if you marry that dude. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for enforcing my house rules on my wife's brother? My male 30 brother-in-law, male 20 Sean, moved in with me and his sister after my father-in-law passed away a few months ago. He is the private type and keeps to himself. He goes out and never say where he's going or how long he'll be out. Eats at random times during the day. Wears AirPods while me and the kids are sitting with him. See, all of these are uncool behaviors and a bad influence on my children. I've already talked to Sean about certain house rules I have, and how he was violating them maybe because he didn't know. But now he knows and still nothing's changed. Last night he came home late at around 10 p.m. I wasn't thrilled with that because he knew the rules, but he said that he was an adult and I shouldn't be policing him. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that he's repeatedly disrespected the homeowner and rules. So I told him this. If you won't respect the rules, which are being home at 8, not eating at random times, and not using his electronics just like my kids aren't allowed when the family's gathered to spend time together. He ranted about how he was a child, my child, and called me unreasonable to treat him this way just because he lives under my roof. I told him it's not hard to show respect, really. But my wife went off asking what was wrong with me to be giving Sean, who's still grieving, ultimatums and treating him like a child. I explained to her that I'm just making sure the kids won't be influenced by her brother's reckless behavior. And she laughed, asking if I think Sean being on his phone was reckless. But that is besides the point. She called me a control freak and told me to get off her brother's back and leave him alone. I replied that she's just saying this because he's her brother, but she said I overstepped and should back off and stop trying to control her adult brother. I asked her if she was happy with him coming home late, and she said she was sick of arguing, then went upstairs. Am I the a-hole here? Now for the comments. You're the a-hole. Your wife is right. Why on earth should a 20-year-old have a curfew and have his eating time policed? Also, you made a unilateral decision about your wife's brother without even consulting your wife? You sound already like an overbearing parent, and this is towards an adult who isn't your kid. I feel horrible for your wife and kids. He is definitely the a-hole. The fact that he's treating his brother-in-law like he's one of his kids is ridiculous. And I very much agree with his wife 100%. Those children must fear this man. He is policing everything about their life. There is a difference between parenting and policing. What Opie is doing is going to lead a lot of anxiety and resentment on his children's part. Also, this will likely negatively impact his marriage. How will his wife feel when she knows she failed her brother when he needed her the most, and to know that it was because of her stubborn husband? Opie, you really need to reevaluate your views on parenting and as a partner, or it will likely come back and bite you in the butt in 10, maybe 20 years. Divorce or fractured marriage and alienated children will be likely in your future if you do not reevaluate and improve as a person. Try this parenting tactic. Hey kids, if you're wondering why Sean doesn't have to obey the rules that you do, it's because he's an adult and not my child. When you are an adult, you will get to come home later than 8 p.m. too. You're the a-hole. Yeah, how hard is it to explain that there are different standards for a grown man than there are for an elementary school-age kid? You're the a-hole. Giving an adult a curfew of 8 is insane, as is trying to dictate what he eats. Wearing AirPods at a table is rude, but I completely understand why he would want to tune you out, so he gets a pass on that. Why are you trying to parent a fully grown adult? I wouldn't call this parenting. 100% chance, this man also controls his children in unreasonable ways under the guise of respect. Last story. Am I the a-hole telling my sister that my fiancé has every right to hate her and my mom? I've been with my fiancé for nearly 6 years and we live together and we are happier than ever. My sister and my fiancé get along fairly well when they're in each other's presence, but my fiancé hates my sister and my mom as well, and I think her reasons are valid. My sister would always try to set me up with friends of hers, sisters of her friends or girls and women she was friendly with and liked. She didn't know my fiancé before I introduced her to my family, and when I spoke of dating my fiancé in the early stages, my sister was trying to convince me she was not a right fit for me. She hadn't even met her. My sister also tried to set me up with my ex-girl best friend. My girl best friend took advantage of that and tried to break off my relationship with my fiancé, but I cut her off immediately, which led to my sister calling me sensitive. Due to my sister's behavior, which makes my fiancé uncomfortable, they barely meet. Even when they do, my fiancé always try to be kind and keep a balance, but my sister will randomly bring up all the women she tried to set me up with, but failed because, well, he chose you instead of my friend and things like that. Another reason my fiancé hates my sister and my mom is because they're very nosy and controlling. They act jealous over my relationship to my fiancé. They always try to compete with her and guilt trip me if I show that I put my fiancé first. My mom is always throwing tantrums about how I'm replacing her with my fiancé, and how a mother should be the first priority in her kid's life, and that my fiancé could abandon me anytime. My sister also sides with my mom on this and claims my biological family, parents and siblings, come before anyone else, even my future wife. Due to some recent conflicts related to the issues mentioned above, my fiancé has chosen to keep her distance from my family for the sake of her mental health. My mom and sister ask why is that, and why my fiancé acts like she hates them, and that she's being ridiculous and unreasonable. I pointed out to my sister and my mom that my fiancé has the most valid reasons to dislike and hate them, because they've always provoked her, and try to compete with her while also trying to be controlling of our lives. Knowing my mom and sister, they immediately told my whole family. Now, several family members are calling me and my fiancé a-holes for treating my family like that, and how I'm an a-hole for justifying my fiancé's hatred towards my mom and sister. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Having had a nightmare ex-mother-in-law and sister-in-law in the past, you're doing wonderfully for standing up for your fiancé, who is being so unfairly treated. they are also treating you poorly by how they treat someone you love. Your mother and sister are horrid. I've known how horrid they are firsthand before I even got with my fiancé. I had taught myself to ignore their tactics, but watching them trying to actively hurt people that I love is crossing the line. You need to spend as little time around them as possible and block these other family members. If you knew they were toxic, why didn't you manage the relationships with your other family better? You knew your mom and sister were hella toxic and didn't manage/enlist/tell the rest of your family what was going on. You have not allowed your mother/sister to create the wrong narrative with the extended family. You're the a-hole for 1, not shutting your mom and sister down early, 2, subjecting your fiancé to their abuse, 3, not preemptively warning your extended family before your fiancé even went low contact/no contact, 4, for throwing your fiancé under the bus by expressing how she feels after you allowed your family to abuse her, 5, for not putting your mother in her place. She didn't suddenly start expressing she could outrank even a wife. She's always expressed that. You probably thought it was funny. Now it's biting you in the butt.